Good morning, Beacon.
Good morning.
Look at that, we're starting on time, and there's not a professional in the house, so we're off to a good start. My name is Missy Rogers, she, her. I am a fairly tall white woman with salt and pepper hair, wearing a tan and black sweater and a little bit of bling around my neck. I join you here on the ancestral and continued lands of the Lenni Lenape in Summit, New Jersey, and virtually across the miles. Today is Beacon's annual poetry service, where there is no sermon other than the one that will be woven together in your own mind as the words of the poet land on your particular soil on this particular day, in this particular sliver of time. In some years, we have provided a printed compilation of the poems read, and some years we have not. This is a not year. However, the order of service, which can be accessed on our website or from the QR code on a little postcard that I meant to have with me to hold up right now, we'll give you each poem and poet name so that you can reread each one and later and explore other writings from the poets. Today, the children will be with us here in the sanctuary, or maybe at some point out in the sunroom with their people, whatever works best for them. There was not going to be a Beacon Cafe today. However, Chris is here, and Chris did make coffee, and we do have some goodies. So out of practically nothing is coffee hour after the service, which will be served upstairs in the Bumbaugh balcony. I am so grateful for each person who plays a part in making this service happen today, including you who are with us here and virtually. Thank you. We invite you now to relax into this sacred time with an invitation from a well-loved children's poet, Shel Silverstein. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in.
Good morning, everyone, and online. My name is Dick Muldoon. I am an older white male, 6 feet 2 inches tall, clean-shaven with white hair that remembers what it was like to be gray. I am one of the worship associates you will be hearing from today. Many of us will be reading poems. And I'm privileged to lead us in our chalice lighting today, a ritual that brings us together as a beloved community for services in a space that we make sacred through the lighting of the chalice and the sharing of that flame. I can think of no better way to approach the arrival of a new year than to contemplate this guidance from non-poet writer Neil Gaiman. I hope that in this year to come, you make mistakes. Because if you are making mistakes, then you are making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing your world. I hope you join me in 2024 in making tons of mistakes.
I'm Helen Kerr, she, her. I guess I'm about average height at this point, and white-haired, old person in a purple sweater. Yeah. We're going to start with a poem from Naomi Shihab Nye, and she is someone we've heard a lot of poems from on Sundays. This one she calls Burning the Old Year. Letters swallow themselves in seconds. Notes people tied to the doorknob, transparent scarlet paper, sizzle like moth wings, marry the air. So much of any year is flammable. Lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flame of days. So little, a stone. Where there was something and suddenly isn't, an absence shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers. Quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves. Only the things I didn't do crackle after the blazing dies.
Good morning. My name is Wim Sweldens. I'm one of the worship associates here at Beacon. I tend to use the male pronouns, and I'm tall, unshaven, with salt and pepper hair, and I'm wearing a white shirt and a red vest. I will be reading one of my favorite poems, titled For a New Beginning, by John O'Donoghue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled and you stepped out onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning, this at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you.
Please open your hymn book to hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses, standing as you are able.
Your vow.
John Masefield was the British Poet Laureate from 1930 to 1967. Before he attained that position, he taught at Oxford, where he started Oxford Recitations, an annual contest to discover beautiful readers of poetry. He would have absolutely adored Beacon's poetry sessions every year. This poem is called A Creed. I hold that when a person dies, his soul returns to earth. Arrayed in some new flesh disguise, another mother gives him birth. With sturdier limbs and brighter brain, the old soul takes the road again. Such is my own belief and trust. This hand that holds the pen, has many 100 times been dust and turned as dust to dust again. These eyes of mine have blinked and shone in Thebes, in Troy, in Babylon. All that I rightly think or do or make or spoil or bless or blast is curse or blessing, justly due for sloth or effort in the past. My life's a statement of the sum of vice indulged or overcome. I know that in my lives to be, my sorry heart will ache and burn and worship unavailingly the woman whom I used to spurn and shake to see another have the love I spurned, the love she gave. And I shall know in angry words, in jibes and mocks and many a tear, a carrion flock of homing birds, the jibes and scorns I uttered here. The brave word that I failed to speak will brand me dastard on the cheek. And as I wander on the roads, I shall be helped and healed and blessed. Dear words shall cheer and be as goads to urge to heights before unguessed. My road shall be the road I made. All that I gave shall be repaid. So shall I fight, so shall I tread in this long war beneath the stars. So shall a glory wreath my head, so shall I faint and show the scars, until this case, this clogging mold, be smithied all to kingly gold.
Good morning. My name is Mia Morse. I'm a cafe au lait type coloring, black woman with reddish hair and black blazer and African print dress. I wanted to share with all of you, my Beacon family, a tradition in my culture, Kwanzaa. What is Kwanzaa? The celebration is not a festival originating in any of the 55 African countries, nor is it an African Christmas celebration. Kwanzaa is an African American celebration of life from December 26th to January 1st. Dr. Malana Karanga introduced the festival in 1966 in the United States as a ritual to welcome the first harvest of home. Dr. Karanga created this festival for Afro-Americans as a response to the commercialization of Christmas. In fact, one might say Kwanzaa has similarities with Thanksgiving in the United States or the Yam Festival in Ghana and Nigeria. The word Kwanzaa is Kiswahili, which Kiswahili is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, a word meaning first. 5 common sets of values are central to the activities of the week: ingathering, reverence, commemoration, recommitment, and celebration. The 7 principles in Nguzo Saba of Kwanzaa Utilize Kiswahili words, unity, umoja, self-determination, kujichagulia, collective work and responsibility, ujima, cooperative economics, ujama, purpose, nia, and today, creativity, kuumba, and tomorrow, faith, imani. Each of the 7 candles signifies the principles. Like the Jewish Hanukkah, candles are used to represent concepts of the holiday. Finally, the 7 candles, Mishuma Saba, remind participants of the 7 principles and the colors in the flags of African liberation movements: 3 red, 1 black, and 3 green. On today, gifts are exchanged, and a celebration of food, which is often African cuisine, and participants greet one another with habari gani, which is Kiswahili for how are you, and how's the news with you. So I will ask Dennis to please light the 6th candle for today. And there's more information on the web. Of course, you can Google Kwanzaa. Thank you. And now we will start the candle lighting for congregation.
Thank you, Mia. Good morning. My name is Dennis Mannion. He and him. Let's see. I'm about 5'9". At least I was at one point in my life. I have reddish brown hair with some gray flecks in between. I'm wearing a, what is this, olive-colored sweater with a purple chaplain sash. And I'm a member of our Beacon Chaplain Ministry. Our role as chaplains is to extend the spiritual care of our community. One of the ways we extend our spiritual care is our weekly candle lighting. Today, we light a candle. May I get some assistance from one of our worship associates? That's okay. Thank you, guys. Today, we light a candle of mourning for the passing of our brother Jim Pearson on Friday evening. Jim and his wife Nancy are known for their loving generosity that always went above and beyond the call of our faith to be of service to others. We extend warm hugs and love to Nancy and their daughters during this difficult time. And now, mindful of passages on this New Year's Eve, let's come into stillness for a moment. What do we wish to release? Can we give it a name? We light a candle and allow ourselves to experience whatever we are feeling: loss, grief, fear, anxiety, whatever it is. We feel it and then allow our feelings to lift as the swirling smoke of the tiny flame floats away. Letting go opens us to the power of inspiration, insight, wisdom, love. We light a candle of intention to be awake, to healing and renewal, and perhaps say a brief affirmation. May I open my heart to love. May I know I am blessed with peace, joy, and harmony. We invite you now to come forward to light a candle for any release or intention you may be holding in your heart today, here in our sanctuary or wherever you might be.
last year, we were blessed to have actually two original poems that were shared by Helen Kerr. And this year, we're equally blessed to have an original poem which will be read by the poet herself, Mary Lee.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Mary Lee Crawley. My pronouns are she and her. A white woman who's about 5'10" with brown hair and glasses, wearing a gray sweater. This is a poem called Hammock, which I wrote this past summer. Hammock. Often I imagine waking in a monk's cell, blackness at 4 a.m. The bell sounds in my dreams. Begin again. I step down cold steps, pull the black cushion from the pile, sit with crossed legs, and breathe. Is this the stillness I knew first inside my mother's skin, where I first grew tissue, muscle, teeth, and desire? Can I fold it like a grocery slip list? Stuff it deep in a pocket of the jeans I keep in the drawer by the bed. The monastery stands in smoky fog, tall eucalyptus along its road, acres from the coast. And me, I repeat my days, one after the other, in this plan B, a life etched deep in my bones. I eat rice, sweep floors, pull lettuce from soil. This is the world I first found in the pages of Merton. I want a spirit that stretches like a hammock, taut beneath this life, this one here, that hums through my fingers as I scrape egg from plate, rinse glasses, scrub our porcelain sink, the one still breathing over this counter and warm coffee. Plan A, here on the corner of Greenwood, next to the roses, where the waves of cars rise and fall, where the policeman perches in his black SUV, ready to flash and ticket. I bless the return of distraction and promise to slow down. Here, in this life, I clean my way into silence. I stack plates, rest bowls, and vow to want less.
Thank you, Mary Lee. That was beautiful. I'm going to read Maya Angelou's poem that she read at the inauguration of William Jefferson Clinton on the 20th of January, 1993. Mr. President, Mrs. Clinton, Vice President Gore, Mrs. Gore, my fellow brothers and sisters of this country. A rock, a river, a tree, host to species long since departed, marked the mastodon, the dinosaur who left dried tokens of their sojourn here on the planet floor. Any broad alarm of their hastening doom is lost in the gloom of dust and ages. But today, the rock cries out to us clearly, forcefully, "Come, you may stand upon my back and face your distant destiny, but seek no haven in my shadow. I will give you no hiding place down here. You, created only a little lower than the angels, have crouched too long in the bruising darkness, have lain too long, face down in ignorance, your months spilling words, armed for slaughter. The rock cries out to us today, you may stand upon me, but do not hide your face. Across the wall of the world, a river sings a beautiful song. It says, come rest here by my side. Each of you, a bordered country, delicate and strangely made proud, yet thrusting perpetually under siege. Your armed struggles for profit have left collars of waste upon my shore, currents of debris upon my breast. Yet today I call to you by my riverside. If you will study war no more, come, clad in peace. I will sing the songs the Creator gave to me when I and the tree and the rock were one. Before cynicism was a bloody sear across your brow, and when you yet knew, you knew nothing. The river sang and sings on. There is a true yearning to respond to the singing river and the wise rock. So say the Asian, the Hispanic, the Jew, the African, the Native American, the Sioux, the Catholic, the Muslim, the French, the Greek, the Irish, the rabbi, the priest, the sheik, the gay, the straight, the preacher, the privileged, the homeless, the teacher. They all hear the speaking of the tree. They hear the first and last of every tree. Speak to humankind today. Come to me here beside the river. Plant yourself beside the river. Each of you, descendant of some past on-traveler, has been paid for. You who gave me my first name, you, Pawnee, Apache, Seneca, you, Cherokee Nation, who rested with me, then forced on bloody feet, left me to the employment of other seekers, desperate for gain, starving for gold. You, the Turk, the Arab, the Swede, the German, the Eskimo, the Scot. You, the Ashanti, the Yoruba, the Crew, brought, sold, stolen, arriving on the nightmare, praying for a dream. Here, root yourselves beside me. I am that tree planted by the river, which will not be moved. I, the rock, I, the river, I, the tree. I am yours. Your passages have been paid. Lift up your faces. You have a piercing need for this bright morning, dawning for you. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Lift up your eyes upon this day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream. Women, children, men, take it into the palms of your hands. Mold it into the shape of your most private need. Sculpt it into the image of your most public self. Lift up your hearts. Each new hour holds new chances for a new beginning. Do not be wedded forever to fear, yoked eternally to brutishness. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change. Here, on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look upon, up and out upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country, no less to Midas than the mendicant, no less to you now than the mastodon then. Here, on the pulse of a new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sisters' eyes, your brothers' faces, your country, and just simply say, very simply, with hope, good morning. Thank you.
The Beginning and the End by Wisława Szymborska. After every war, someone has to clean up. Things won't straighten themselves up after all. Someone has to push the rubble to the side of the road so the corpse-filled wagons can pass. Someone has to get mired in scum and ashes, sofa springs, splintered glass, and bloody rags. Someone has to drag a girder to prop up a wall. Someone has to glaze a window, hang a door. Photogenic, it's not, and it takes years. All the cameras have left for another war. We'll need the bridges back and new railway stations. Sleeves will go ragged from rolling them up. Someone, broom in hand, still recalls the way it was. Someone else listens and nods with unsevered head. But already there are those nearby starting to mill about who will find it dull. From out of the bushes, sometimes, someone still unearths old, rusted-out arguments and carries them to the garbage pile. Those who knew what was going on here must make way for those who know little, and less than little, and finally little as nothing. In the grass that has overgrown causes and effects, someone must be stretched out, blade of grass in the mouth, gazing at the clouds.
Next, we have two short poems from a pair of young emerging poets. The first is called Tender by Jose Antonio Rodriguez. Thinking how much my father loved flowering plants and how much my mother still does, and of how unfathomably hard it must have been to clothe and feed 10 children with the most meager of salaries, for tending to citrus orchards, for shoveling and irrigating and shoveling again. How he groaned when I removed his work boots at day's end. An exhaustion deeper than a well. And the second poem is called Alive at the End of the World. It's by Said Jones. The end of the world was mistaken for another massacre in America. Brain matter and broken glass, blurred boot prints in pools of blood. We dialed the newly dead, but they wouldn't answer. We texted, begging them to call us back. But the newly dead don't know how to read. In America, a gathering of people is called target practice, or a funeral, depending on who lives long enough to define the terms. But for now, we are alive at the end of the world, shell-shocked by headlines and alarm clocks burning through the little love that we have left. With time, the white boys with guns will become wounds we can't quite remember enduring. How did you get that scar on your shoulder? Oh, a boy I barely knew was sad once.
I invite you now to rise as you are able and turn to number 490 in the hymnal. This is a poem that many of you will likely know so well. You could probably recite it without the use of the hymnal, and for some of you, it will be brand new. And for all of us, I think it will be lovely. So your portion of the reading will be the italicized words. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And please remain standing and turn to hymn number 100, and we will sing together.
We will sing verses 1, 2, 3, and 6. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
And now, what Poetry Sunday could possibly be complete without a poem by Rumi? Tending two shops. Don't run around this world looking for a hole to hide in. There are wild beasts in every cave. If you live with mice, the cat claws will find you. The only real rest comes when you're alone with God. Live in the nowhere that you came from, even though you have an address here. That's why you see things in two ways. Sometimes you look at a person and see a cynical snake. Someone else sees a joyful lover. And you're both right. Everyone is half and half, like the black and white ox. Joseph looked ugly to his brothers and most handsome to his father. You have eyes that see from that nowhere, and eyes that judge distances, how high and how low. You own two shops, and you run back and forth. Try to close the one that's a fearful trap, getting always smaller. Checkmate this way, checkmate that. Keep open the shop where you're not selling fish hooks anymore. You are the free swimming fish.
Our next poem is titled A Journey by Nikki Giovanni. It's a journey that I propose. I am not a guide, nor technical assistant. I will be your fellow passenger. Though the rail has been ridden, winter clouds over, autumn's exuberant quilt, we must provide our own guideposts. I have heard from previous visitors the road washes out sometimes, and passengers are compelled to continue groping or turn back. I am not afraid. I am not afraid of rough spots or lonely times. I don't fear the success of this endeavor. I am raw, in a space not to be discovered, but invented. I promise you nothing. I accept your promise of the same. We are simply riding a wave that may carry or crash. It's a journey, and I want to go. I would like next to call forward Rachel and Rob Wojciechowski to share their thoughts and perspectives.
Hello, it's beautiful poems. Hi, I'm Rachel Radzewski, she, her. I'm a 40-something white woman with brown shoulder-length hair and wearing a black dress with some white dots.
Hi, I'm Robert Radzewski, he, him, 45-year-old male with salt pepper hair, black rimmed glasses, blue shirt, and khaki trousers.
So we're thrilled to share a bit about our journey as Beacon members. In 2019, our oldest son was 11 years old and begun to ask some deeper philosophical questions about God, where we go when we die, and why he wasn't getting a first communion like a good portion of his friends. So now I consider myself a pretty open and deep communicator with my kids, happy to discuss my own journey into the yogic philosophies and meditation. But deep down, I intuitively knew that he was not just looking for parental feedback, he was seeking a container, a community, to begin to explore his musings as he entered into these big thinking years of teens and beyond. And as I began to shop around for this container at different places of worship, Beacon was mentioned by a friend, so I came alone one February Sunday and felt immediately like this place was something special, not just for our sons, but for all of us.
And I received the House of Worship report card from my wife, Rachel. That Beacon met all our criteria. I personally was brought up Roman Catholic, and I grew disinterested with the religion and the practice. I did have a spiritual void in my life and was also searching for something to fill in. I was looking for a spiritual existence with the benefits of community, gratitude, joy, and celebration. We all attended our first service as a family, kids begrudgingly, and we immediately felt at home.
So then lockdown happened, and we were thrown into a lot of chaos and uncertainty. And as a family, we decided to gather in our PJs every Sunday morning with our coffee and breakfast to get to know Beacon more and experience what it was all about. The youth program invited our older son to have a call check-in every single school day at 4 o'clock after a day of stressful remote learning. And our younger son was a Beacon Zoom kid who learned about the 8 Unitarian Universalist principles each Sunday morning with other buddies. This routine kept our sanity in check and began to expand our spiritual lives together.
We experienced the seasonal holidays, the journey of the pandemic, and the personal milestones in our family all together with Beacon as our touchstone. We enjoy giving back where we can by volunteering. Rachel is one of the youth leaders, and we especially enjoy being the coffee crew on the weekends. That brings us to present day. It's 4 years and still going, and we feel grateful to have become a part of the Beacon community. As I've heard many parents say, I came here for the kids and I stayed for me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our offering will now be gratefully given and received. ask you to rise and hold hands. Thank you all for being here today, for sharing these beautiful words and poems with all of us. Today is the last day of the year. Our beautiful boat home brought us back to where we were a year ago. For some of us, this is a meaningful day, and we will party hard tonight and have a new beginning tomorrow. For others, it's another regular day, and we will tuck in early tonight. No matter what, we can think of this day as a new beginning. We can think of this moment, right here, right now, with all of us as a new beginning. As we now extinguish this light, I ask all of you, take this light with you. Take this light of love. Take this light of community. Take this spirit of life and this sparkle of the universe with you in your heart and soul. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful evening, a new beginning now or tomorrow, and a happy new year. Thank you.